Hello and welcome back to the Blobber Plays Pyre. We just completed the first fight of Season 2. We're about to find out where we're going next. Jamur, Lu, or Ores? Several stars, a trick of the eye or the will of the scribes, who can say? I too once gained this newfound vision many years ago, following my first liberation rite, and I believe only we of the Nightwings have this gift. I realize that in choosing whom the Nightwings confront, we in turn influence which triumvirate we face when the time comes for someone to be set free. The object I invite you to use contains more details. He has a planner! Sure, let's look at it. Using the planner, you may assess your progress towards your ultimate goal, as well as check the current standings against your adversaries. He will keep this information up to date. You may look over it now, or anytime you're in the wagon, or while searching the stars. Okay, so this is difficulty? And yet... no, okay, wins versus losses. So, the Pyre hearts are supposedly the easiest. And we need to find a new person. Volfred's current best estimate that the revolution brewing will succeed. Okay, so we can fight the bird people. The withdrawn. The Pyre hearts. Withdrawn are fairly even. The Pyre hearts are easy. And what was the third one? The bird people. What is your name again? Her. So she's also easy. So I guess we'll go to the withdrawn. I was not in a hurry to cross paths with Udmildhi again. Turns out she's worse than I thought, depending on how superstitious you are. He reveals what he's learned of her and her designs. The witch Udmildhi, one of the bog dwellers and head of the withdrawn, a triumvirate more interested in the legends of Yaslach, the astral born, than in the rites. Her kind was known to be reclusive in the Commonwealth, yet she was brazen in her disdain for common values. She practiced the unspeakable. Somehow, one day, her research into flammable reagents grew into an obsession with Yaslach, despite widely held belief that they're dead or never even existed. But Udmildhi held that they were merely dormant, and shall someday be reborn with newfound hunger, which could only be sated by devouring the world. Then at last could Yaslach return to his glorious home, and Udmildhi would go with him. When Commonwealth officials showed up to take Udmildhi in for spreading unrest, she was all too eager to comply. After all, a sentence to the downside meant being closer to Yaslach's resting place, where she believed she had work to do, and where the withdrawn stood ready to assist. I don't know if we can stop whatever she's up to, but prevailing against her would slow her down. Anyway, good luck getting to sleep. See you in the morning. You bid Hedwyn a restful night. It's too late to take flight. You expect to press onwards come daylight. And we've got a new... oh, okay, so the day planner is a new interactable. Sure, the book has some new things to tell us about. The accusers performed under Golthanian. He is a big man. He values justice, loyalty, and steadfastness. He says that the accusers take their name from one of his most accomplished legions, from his foreman, former military days. All among them served the Master General at one time. They represent the stoutest-hearted people of the Empire, who held true to Myr and Golthanion to the end. The golden colours of their raiments are reminiscent of their old shining armour. At least that's his claim. Ever shall they seek out those with the truest spirits and strongest sense of purpose to replenish their ranks. Bay seems to be in a happy mood, though she always seems to be around Jadariel, who is listening to her with patience. So I would just look within the sallow caps each daybreak for the morning dew to drink, and once in a while I would find maybe a stream to drink from too. Though I'd get very thirsty sometimes. I tried drinking tree sap once. It wasn't very good. It was really bad, I guess. She seems, beg pardon, to be discussing how she managed to survive in the downside all alone for so long. Jadariel watches her intently. Food? Well, food was harder to find. Because, well, it's a bit embarrassing, but I tried never to harm a living thing, you know. It makes me sad. Sometimes it is the way of things, I understand, and so I would eat as often as I needed to and tried a lot of different things to see if they were good. Most of them weren't. I got by. I learned to get by. I already knew how a little bit, because back home where I came from, well, I had to get by there too. Here it's harder, but not that much harder. Jadariel remains silent as Bay trails off. Then she embraces Bay and holds her gently. Bay lets out a breath, but says nothing. Could I ask a question? Of course. How old are you, do you know? 19. How old do you think I am? Then you have seen a lot in not a lot of time. Know that what you have achieved is a feat. I've known seasoned soldiers who could not have lived through the experiences you have described. Wow, thank you. Thank you so very much. You seldom see Bay so joyful as in this moment. As for Jadariel, you could count on one hand the number of times you've seen a smile play across her lips. You leave them to their conversation. Being here in Flagging Hands continues to sap most everyone's spirit. Launch. Zoom. Okay, so Gilman says we'd be able to pursue our vocations. Yeah, I like the idea of continuing our buffs. The Hulk of Ores is drifted here upon the sea for longer than one might expect. Perhaps you've already read of the doomed ship's demise in the embrace of unfathomed plurns. Some say it was the sea itself that preserves the ship's remains, hidden properties in the water, sea creatures binding together ruined planks of wood. Those such as yourselves in the Withdrawn know another truth, I gather. The stars wouldn't align over the wreckage if it didn't have greater significance than it first appears. May you have good fortune there during the coming rite. Land. You touch down on the Sea of Solace, where you first encountered Sir Gilman and the Pyre Hearts. You shall soon carry on by sea, though for now you have some time to spare. After having reached the boundless waters of Ragged Rock, you volunteer to survey the grounds. As you prepare to head out, your companions beat you to it. Hold, Master Reader! This knight and the good Pamatha should reconnoitre in your stead. They depart and leave the rest up to you. When they return with nothing much to report, you feel better and in the midst of deciding which of your vocations to pursue. Continue working on the buffs. Passive buffs all day, every day. Level 2 Hope bonus. Now there's only 2 more of them to do before we run out of passive buffs, unless they unlock an extra level. Okay. A messenger imp with news and rumours from the other side's managers to track you down in the murky waters of the Sea of Solus. The imp's latest information is about none other than Tizo, who you liberated. Everyone says he is the first creature of his kind to come to the Commonwealth. While his unique status brought him no shortage of prestige, he's experienced difficulty acclimating to the new environment. It seems he's grew quite despondent. Then, at last, he managed to track down Walfred's agents, with whom he was working to find a means to bring more people home. And so the revolution has grown stronger. He also left for you a special verbal message via his most trusted messenger, who rears up and intones, "Screhium." He wants you to know he's doing well but misses you, and hopes to see you again. You thank the messenger imp for the report and ask that it relay your kind regards. Your companions soon begin to talk in turn. Why, that lucky little... It's so weird without your silly little moustaches. Okay, sure, I'm a little jealous of him, so what? Oft it is said that good things come in small packages, and Tizo stands as living proof. And living he remains, apparently. Good for him. If anyone or anything can change the Commonwealth, it might be Tizo. I guess this makes him an expatriate of sorts, ditching his downside home in favour for the Commonwealth. Who would have thought? Truly, once more it seems I've underestimated him and his resilience. I'm so happy for him. I wish I could have a friend like him when I was there. I look forward to our next reunion, Tizo, perhaps when we're back among the stars. The news of Tizo's adventures in the Commonwealth fills you and your fellow exiles with a newfound resolve. Everyone gains one hope for the next fight. So, temporary buff. The book wants us to read something. I wish to be remembered not for boastfulness, thus I refrain from detailing our exploits across the land, save to say that they were numerous. Know that only through our combined strength of arms and wit did we withstand the savage land. Such was the monstrous dangers that it posed. I came to see all the terrors which I heard at bedside in my youth were based entirely on fact. So great were they, they blotted out the sky. Such was the evil that we vanquished, that the remnants of it yet shine under the stars. And in the end it was the stars which guided us towards our truest challenge. Ooh. Book still wants more. The solar shell, a sparkling thing in the center, is in fact its heart, which it airs out from time to time, a keepsake from the Sea of Solus. Only a monster would attempt to remove the heart, or would have the strength. And someone else has an upgrado fight? Who? Bay. Alright. We can try. The scribes. I think that if I listen carefully, I can hear them calling to me. Listen well, girl. The place you reside at present has but a single rule. You answer to me. Okay. Such naive enthusiasm. Be silent. It is plain to me that you have much to learn. But you have learned something, and I would see you prove it. Without the benefit of anyone else, save your reader. Are you okay to help me out there? Yes, I am. 3 of the explodey people, you say? Well, they get first blood. But they've got bigger aura than me. That makes this really, really unpleasant. Okay, first counter dunk. Two out of 3? 3 out of 3. Sprint, sprint, sprint. Using the stowaway, deal 200 damage. Ah, and it calls her that because her name is, ambiguous. Right? Because you choose her name. Got ya. Dunk. Win. How did I do? How did I do? I must admit you did better than I expected. You've passed your trial. Congratulations to you and your reader. Okay, and what's her special item do? Did I imagine all of this? I hope I didn't. What's it that you have there? Kaelma's amulet. Oh no, anklet. Rank 20? After Bay casts her aura, you can bounce off of objects and solid surfaces. The Royal Traitor's hollow band ensured the Sisters of the Ark were to carry out their mission. And the book has something else to say. Beyond a shallow, sickly gulf, our voyage grew increasingly forbidding, and much harder to explain. How could a sea exist here at the bottom of the world? We could not deduce whence sprang the carcasses of ancient sailing ships we found throughout the Sea of Solace, though the warnings that they signified we duly noted. It was here we first met Orez, called the Underking, who brazenly assaulted our small skiff, for we had trespassed in his waters. But then the Underking relented, for he witnessed Solam Mer in all his doom and glory. Soon he would side with us. Then, with the Underking, we sailed forth into a tempest beyond reasoning or measure. And the book says still more. The Daz Raben was first of many river ships to vanish in the downside. Although presumptions of its loss were not inaccurate, the doomed ship and her valiant crew had charted half the Sea of Solace before the end of their brave voyage. The Sea Titan, unfathomed Plurns, was not fond of vessels sailing her sea, and split the doomed ship with a single strike. The ship's own shattered prow would later end the Sea Titan's cruel reign, as the boastful Underking loves to recount. The stars themselves must have been moved by this. That point within the sea, now sacred, has the stars dancing in homage every now and again. Okay, and we've exhausted the book. Except that it's saying something else is here that I missed. Oh, we're meant to talk to Wormboy. So Gilman is fuming in anger over something, so much so that you are hesitant to approach, but nevertheless you do. Exile is too light a sentence for this night. He notices you and then seizes up. He begins acting nonchalantly as though his outburst didn't transpire. Greetings, noble Master Reader. What brings you to this night this afternoon? Ask him if he's okay. You maintain a gentle tone and ask whether there's something he might wish to discuss. Could he perhaps benefit from talking through his woes? He stands there silent and dejected, but then, this knight cannot escape the horrors of his past. It seems that you would hear them. You have this knight's apologies ahead of time for burdening you with his troubles. Having said that, here are the troubles you requested. You are, of course, familiar with the siege of the Spiral Sanctum, the burned-down remains of the old capital of the Commonwealth. For this knight, the memory of it is like a wound which will not close. This knight stood there on the front lines whilst the High Wing remnants, the last surviving faction of the Winged Harpies, descended upon them. So furious was their assault that our chain of command was ruptured instantly. We of the Sea Dominion required orders to perform our duty. Without these orders, why, we surely make a very easy target. One by one and two by two they picked us off, becoming bolder, some of them shrieking with laughter all the time. This knight saw his comrades cast aside like sea flies. How did I survive? I don't know for certain, even now. Perhaps it was that I attempted to pursue and to detain my own knight commander, who you have met when you first met me. That cursed Sir Deluge. If not for his craven cowardice, the Spiral Sanctum might have held at least a while longer. But instead we were routed, rendered spineless both in form and deed. Sir Deluge was first to turn and flee as our chain of command crumbled. And as for this knight, he failed to catch his knight commander. He must have looked a coward too. Thus came the time for penance, and this knight, why, he insisted on the only course of action reasonable, a sentence to the downside. As you can plainly see, my wish was fulfilled. How absurd that we should re-encounter our old knight commander here. And so I became obliged once more to Sir Deluge. We took to the waters in the Sea of Solace, where soon we met the Pyre Hearts, a triumvirate exclusive to our kind. It is plain to see they lacked wherewithal, and Sir Deluge, they thought he could provide it, the leadership they sought, and his was too much of a coward, that doesn't make sense, to decline. As for this knight, being of the Sea Dominion, he had little choice but to comply, or so at first we thought. When we encountered you in the Nightwings, something awakened within me. With so little honour left to lose and so much pain left to gain, it became eminently clear that this knight stood a better chance within your ranks than those of Sir Deluge. And there is little left to say. I cannot escape my past, and yet I choose to believe that I was spared not merely by coincidence. Perhaps under King Orez has yet a plan in store, in which I may yet play a part. I cling, however vainly, to this hope. And he slithers away, his head bowed low. It seems best to leave him for now. You sense he feels relieved at having shared his story. Okay, this is done. We're not any richer, so we might as well just go. Once more, you have returned to the Hulk of Orez, and your companions stand ready beneath a still night sky, awaiting the commencement of the riots. You overheard some of their words to one another as you await the signal in the stars. Our adversaries are to be the withdrawn, then. Let us make short work of them. You then observe a glint of starlight, and as it begins to shine above, and your companions fall silent.
Look forth, you exiles of the Nightwings. The Eight Scribes summon you to the Hulk of Orus. The adversaries you are to confront shall be the Withdrawn. Whose ever pyre yet burns ere the break of dawn shall surge forward on the path to glory. Now, prepare yourselves.
Previous time, you snuffed our pyre's flame. You won. This time, all for your slacked. No matter the result and no matter the cost. We can take them. Who's up for this one?
Who shall conduct the rites?
Drag Stardust to a talisman. I really do like this one, and I'm happy to keep upgrading it. But, do we prefer your thing? And who will we use? Arguably, we should use our original trio. Or maybe Sir Knight? It should be knight, bird, and... well... it should be doggo. Knight, doggo. These two are both fast, small aura people, so we should probably go her as the last one. Which then means now you need to be the get health back guy. You can keep your thing. This honestly doesn't seem that great. Okay.
Sir Gilman. Joe Dariel. Rookie. Very well.
We've got this. Hear us, you slach. Bring us your terrible power.
Begin.
Meow. Meow. Ooh, we almost got there.
The orb bathes
Holy.
the night wings flame.
It all but teleported then. Meow.
A mere attempt.
Okay, they're all dead.
For the withdrawal.
Swap. Go. Dunk.
Rookie plunged into their pyre.
Holy.
Quite
Okay.
the turn of events.
Meow. Zoom. No. Zoom. Zoom. Close.
Beneath contempt.
But we've got a long cooldown on everyone coming back to life.
Udmilda plunges into flame.
And the enemy's jump seems to get really, really long.
The withdrawn banished to the last.
Dunk.
Joe Dariel doused the adversary's flames.
Yes, stand against us, begone, irrelevant to us or to our purpose.
Too bad for that one.
Okay, zoom. Dunk.
Pyre weakens. The two
Zoom.
triumvirates are neck and neck.
Zoom. Throw.
Sir Gilman flung the
Yep.
orb into the flame.
Good throw. Zoom.
Seems the Nightwings are a bit ahead.
Zoom. Throw. Grab. Redunk.
So it is.
One more and we win.
Now
Zoom.
end the ceremony.
Zoom. Zoom. Throw. No, too slow.
Dear.
But double kill. Oh, but then they get the counter dunk. Okay, that almost didn't go well.
Flames grow weak.
That's bull. We had full aura up and they came down on the ground next to us. They should be very dead.
Well, now that was exciting. No sign of the withdrawn for now. Poor Joe Dariel. unfortunate.
One apiece. Win.
And it is done. The Nightwings prevail yet again. They somehow managed to scrape by despite their adversaries' efforts.
I miss his moustache. I didn't think he'd get rid of
The
it.
ceremony is complete.
Your slack savours defeat. Thine ours he cares not.
There is much to learn from this experience.
No one levels
Till
up.
the next right.
Having overcome the withdrawn in a close contest, you find yourself back in the wagon, recovering from the ordeals with your companions. Everyone is exhausted. The lone minstrel pulls you aside to discuss some of the particulars of the rite's outcome. You find yourself having difficulty following. You feel weary from all the recent travels. It is no matter anyhow. Though I was just about to step outside if you'd care to join me. You follow him outside. Perhaps the night air will do you some good. And everyone is likely wondering where the stars will take us next. The stars shine for you, revealing the path ahead. Aoub lights, as does Joma and Lu. So we may fight Tree Man, Dog Man, and other Dog Man. How do I like it? I was tricked into playing a sports game, FGs. The strongest of these is Wise Dog Man or Tree Man. Both are... Actually, Tree Man is slightly stronger. So I think we go for Tree Man. The controls are also slightly awkward. It feels like you should have multiple players playing. Tree Man. And I also think it would be definitely something you should play on the controller, but it doesn't seem to accept that my controller exists, so what am I to do? Your next adversaries are to be the Chastity, headed by H. Manly Tinderstaff. They would prevail in the rites, not for their own freedom, but for fame and fortune in the Commonwealth. You and the Lone Minstrel go over exactly what we know of the next adversary. He's the offspring of a semi-famous sap industrialist, born into wealth and lived in the lap of luxury, never having to fend for himself. When he came of age, he was offered a cushy ambassadorial position that required little more than a silver tongue to convince the Commonwealth he was keeping busy. He grew so proficient at doing nothing at all that he started spending all his family's riches to assert his fame and status. One day he attempted to pay off the wrong individual, a particularly stern Commonwealth diplomat who turned him in and had him sent downriver. He was disappointed by all this, but saw it as an opportunity, for he knew well that, in the inner circles, there were those who had gone into exile and returned. Thanks to his connections, he tracked down the Chastity deep in Waking Wood. He finagled his way into the triumvirate using his well-worn skills. He in turn convinced himself that he would earn a position of great influence once he secured his way back home. He continues making hollow promises. A shame that this Manly and the Chastity are nothing like the scribe Lou Sklorian, and don't share his values. Now it's time we rested. You bid the minstrel good night and take your leave. It's too late to prepare for the flight. You will leave first thing in the morning. And we now have a window. In the common room, you may review various notes and observations about your fellow exiles. Ah, so this is how we can look at people's stats now. Sure, he's getting a little bit close to level 4. We still need to do these two, really. But they aren't going to earn any bonus experience at the moment, which is a bit sad. I guess we do you, and him. The book also has more to say. The Withdrawn did spawn forth from the wild witch Milthy, in whose vigilant pursuit of the unknown and the unknowable I always felt a certain kinship, whether with the Withdrawn were Milthy's kin by blood or merely worshippers. We trusted one another not to ask or care. What mattered was that Milthy chose the most audacious minds and stopped at nothing short of the impossible. Though ever distant, the Withdrawn revealed to us such truths about the land which long lay hidden, even to one such as I. Their knowledge, ever waking into newfound depths of consciousness, they lead us all to better know ourselves. And then we're all done, save talking to you. Jadariel is explaining something to Nightworm. And so, fainting left against them proves to be reliable. They all lead with their right wings if they choose to strike. They're quick, but leave themselves quite vulnerable. Such sage counsel, madam. This knight feels emboldened should he ever be forced to confront the highway remnants in single combat. Pray that you never do. Being here, I suppose it is unlikely. She notices you then. Reader, the good knight, and I were comparing survival strategies we picked up on the Blood Border, reminiscing on old times. Indeed, the good Jadariel has volunteered to become this knight's master-at-arms, should we ever achieve our liberty. Together, and this knight humbly accepted. What? I said no such thing, and I owe you nothing. Oh, but the finest lessons are the harshest made, madame. This knight is overjoyed that you would thusly train him as your protege. Reader, spare me, please. You somehow managed to steer the subject back to tactics. The knight is most impressed with your familiarity with the finer points of being sliced to ribbons by the high-wing remnants, Master Reader. Sir Gilman and Jadariel continue to converse for some time. You sense that they are in good spirits, all things considered. There for them. Initiate 20 different conversations in the wagon. Campaign. Achievement unlocked. Okay. Zoomy time. Take off. Zoomy. Too far? Too far. Okay. What do we want here? We can land. Rookie wants to explore some pools, or we might find something valuable. Yeah, we'll go with human. You touch down in the heart of the Jamur Valley, where first you faced the Fate and the Dissidents. You briefly wonder where they might be now and how they fare. You now have a little time before you set forth on land. Something about the dusty wastes of Flatfall gives Hedwyn a strong intuition to explore the area. You take a look. Mind if I come along? There seems to be nothing in particular in the vicinity, but then Hedwyn raises his voice. Wait up, I think I spotted something. The object in question is lodged deep in the ground and bears the mark of the rites. You sense you may be able to secure the contents, but the mystic wards will not be easy to undo. Okay, we'll try. You focus your mental faculties on the wards sealing the box's contents. You are left exhausted, but the box lid unfastens. Inside there is a talisman, placed there by one of your predecessors in the rites from ages past. You discovered Star Splinter, a rank 10. When preparing to fling, you fling, basically, the rate at which the flingometer fills up is faster. The book also wants to nag us. The downside prairie first appears serene. It isn't. The soil there accommodates only the region's brutish native vines and overbrush, and most likely food sources prove poisonous. Thus we journeyed further north. The climate there grew fouler to my senses, though the cur, Jamur, found it amenable. This sprawling valley, pocked with long evaporated lakes, gives evidence to the monstrosities which roamed this land. We found the region's western edge to be more pleasant on the whole. Therein we found sources of fresh water, whereas over to the east we found the edge of the land's most hideous decay. Okay, and unless you have something else to say... He looks as you approach. Hello, friend. What's going on? You point at his cooking tins. It's one of life's small comforts that we get to eat. Not a day goes by that I'm not grateful for it, but there's only so much to choose from, whether here in the valley or anywhere else around. I was just having trouble deciding what to cook. We had fire caps again last night, and those never seem to sit well with everyone anyway. There's no more glopgil, not that anyone but Tizo ever liked it, and I feel like we've been having gutter crabs every day for months, so I'm not excited about that either. This is where you come in. No consulting the books or stars, just you and me. What am I making? You decide, because I can't. I know that you've got lots of serious stuff to think about, but so help me, no one's struggling to regain their freedom on an empty stomach. Fillet of slurg. Silt porridge, that sounds disgusting. Gutter crabs again. Okay, fillet of slurg. You express a preference for Hedwyn to cook up a fillet of slurg for you and everyone. He easily detects the hesitation in your voice. You can't mean that. I'm calling your bluff. Fillet of slurg it is. Don't worry, I'll make sure it's cooked all the way through. Lend me a hand, would you? You assist him in preparing it. The two of you get to talking about the past. Hail, Parabola. I'm well. I hope you're well too. The reality of cooking in the downside has a way of making him nostalgic. Life on the blood border wasn't that much easier than trying to get by down here. The high-wing remnants would swoop in at any time. They were so good at picking the worst possible occasions for us. The time they showed up and I was nowhere to be found, well, I must have told you about it. But, on the contrary, he hasn't revealed much about his past to you. Either way, I don't think I ever told you much about Fikani. Ooh, is this the person he loves? I was riding to relay an order, and she caught me out in the open. She could have had me, but we stood there. I've never seen anything or anyone like her. You just got vaccinated, so you're a bit sick? You'll be watching from bed? Be nice and cozy. And her voice, she says to me, you ought to be more careful with your life. And I just say, well, I'm not normally the kind to say such things, but all I could think of was, it was worth the risk. She spared my life, and when we saw riders heading towards us, I looked at her, and she took off. And well, we just took off. I didn't want to leave her, and I didn't. Soon after I came back, I went off in search of her again. This time, though, the risk I took, a lot of people paid for it. The harps attacked when no one was there to raise the alarm. A few days later, Hedwyn the deserter was sentenced to exile. And now he's here to cook some fillet of slurg. Thank you, my friend. I'll take it from here. See you shortly. He seems more at ease after having spoken with you, and he has gained 2 temporary buff for the next fight. And his bio update in here is, we know now his crime. His crime was desertion. That sounded more like he was in love with her to me, but okay. Alright. Let's go. Face plant man again. En route to the Spring of Jamur, the wagon comes to a sudden halt. That does it! I'm leaving. The cause of Jadariel's outbursts becomes apparent. Well, reader darling, at least some of us know how to take a joke. Look, she was reminiscing once again about her soldier days, and I just happened to point out. Well, I may have suggested the fiery destruction of the Spiral Sanctum happened on her former unit's watch. Didn't it? Not that she would have made much of a difference had she been there. She ought to thank the saint that she was spared her exile here. I thought she held no love for your Commonwealth. I've never understood what it is your people saw in the dreadful place, but I guess I've hit a sore spot. I should probably apologize. She swoops off and there's no sign of either of them. You organize a search, but it proves useless. Jadariel returns as if nothing has happened, back to her calm self. Let us continue. I regret the interruption. Don't worry, darling. I've definitely patched things up between us. At least, I think I didn't make things worse. She returns to the wagon. You make ready to resume your travels, but make a note to follow up with them. And we actually arrive at Tree Man. Yes, except the wagon wants our attention. Book wants our attention. We rid the land of an impending doom, but faced another of its kind, for we knew that we were trapped. Yet for each danger we faced, for every failed ambush by Ark, we were met with gentle souls and kindred spirits in the downside, who deserved more than to fade from memory within this land. It was then the stars themselves showed us the way, delineating a great voyage across the sky? The sea. Near broken we became, but then, at last, a moonlit vision, that of the rights, thus shall they say of us, the 8 scribes gave their freedom, so that we may yet have ours. Book wants to nag us more. Oft times think the carpus of the hive titan Bullanthus shall be an everlasting blemish on an almost splendid bit of land, but Jamur, in his brashness, felled the monster with a certain flare. The moon shone through the ridges of the massive carpus, and shined upon the pooling ichor, turning it into the freshest nectar ever to be tasted. The spring shall flow eternally, and those who walk within it shall experience the resplendent glory of the land. The stars began to fall there in the spring, with regularity, and we know now how soon again that they shall do so, and we wish for you to see it for yourself. Okay, book is done. We can talk to you. Bird. You find Pamatha in the midst of a heated conversation. All I'm saying is we're limiting not only our own chances individually, but all your friends' chances as well. Jadariel seems to be considering whatever it is that Pamatha proposed. The harp here is suggesting that perhaps it would be best if I were to form an alliance with the ones whom I fought for the better part of my life. Just with me, I won't vouch for anyone else. How absurd. If we were in the Commonwealth, I wouldn't have stayed my hand against her. I can say that for certain. However, as Hedwyn would say, what happened back there, well, perhaps none of it matters whilst we're here. I'm willing to give it a shot. You mean you'd be willing to conduct the rites with me? Yes. Excellent. I knew you'd come around. I thought she'd never come around, but I suppose I ought to give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm grateful for your open-mindedness. No need to let old enmities between our ancestors ruin things between us, or the others in our little party for that matter. Don't push me, Harp. We will see if the reader here is thus inclined to pair us in the coming rites. I'm willing to defer to them. You see, I managed to make amends. I doubt that doubtlessly will be getting on swimmingly in no time. They will now fight together in the future. And shop, but we don't have money, so shop is not useful. He has new things, though. One-off buff potions. Money for scoring. But I am too poor. Do I sell this to buy that? To earn the money to buy this back? You don't have enough gold. Alright. And then who are we going to use? We should use bird. And bay. And human, it seems, based on who has bonus experience. In which case, I'd like to give bird this, I think. The extra money for dunking. The shopkeep thanks us. Reader, I suppose you might remember our first meeting with Mantley Tinderstaff. He would be mortified, of course, if you forgot. I would say that he's an embarrassment to my kind, but unfortunately I know others like him. We are a discontented people, I suppose. When last I saw him, you might recall that I avoided him. We aren't good acquaintances or anything, but he knows enough people in high places that he could be harmful to our plan, should he know of my involvement. I will have to be discreet here. I can't hide from him outright. Perhaps, though, he shall take me for some common sap. Anyhow, it seems we have a rite to conduct. Get our harpsichord theme. Something else catches your notice in the sky. Strange new stars shimmering about. The greater titans have returned, some of them in spirit, not in form, but those dark stars are a portentous sign. Though they may light your way, beware the path which they illuminate. You may invite the influence of the star titans. Use them for a greater challenge.
Behold the Titan stars.
You're slack. Call upon them to rank up faster. The limbless Arazek or Endriga the Widow. Now, I've got to find out about the Cthulhu thing. How could I not choose Cthulhu? Now, we could lose and get nothing. That is the risk by making it more difficult.
Remnants of monstrosities felled by the scribes themselves. Dare you to stand against them in their fury? Dark is the knowledge that you seek there, reader. Best focus on your adversaries, keen as they are to confront you once again. Put out their fire first, and show them the glory of the Night Wings. Now then, make ready for the rite.
My, what have we here? Have you come to grace us with your presence again? You think you can simply cut us down like last time? Let us indulge him. Perhaps he will reveal something we could use. Just keep him talking. And my, the colour of your raiments. They're rather gaudy in this light, I have to say, though no offence is meant. Do you suppose the rite is to commence? As much as I enjoy our chats, I do have to be going soon. If you must know why, because I'm expecting an important message from the other side, no less. Come dawn, I hear something is brewing, some sort of unrest. It's an important message sent all this way by one of those imp couriers. I must say those little things, well, their services aren't cheap. Though I'm sure that I could get a good deal on their services. If you wish, perhaps to contact a loved one back home. All I ask is that you stand aside and let us prevail. I've a date with Destiny not long for now, upon the fall of Solium. He continues talking until at last the rite is set to start. Okay, plant guy. Look at this wonderful assembly of exiles, come from all different corners. What a colourful retinue you have. I heard the most preposterous rumour that you were harbouring an especially notorious criminal, one who had designs on the Commonwealth himself. He looks right at Volfred. I couldn't imagine such outlandish tales could possibly be true. So I would like to meet everyone. Hello, good Nightwings. I am H. Manly Tinderstuff, and truly it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Manly has intruded on your privacy as you set to choosing your triumvirate. He could not be less welcome. He seems to be searching for someone in your ranks. Ask him to leave politely. Why, yes, of course. I was just taking the opportunity to bid you all the salutations, for I so enjoy getting to meet my fellow exiles. There may be rules against this type of thing, but who's keeping count, am I right? I'm sure the scribes wouldn't mind. Anyhow, now that you mention it, I ought to get back and check on my colleagues. See you shortly, and good luck.
Now let us get started.
Okay. So, not her, not you, maybe you, not you. So it should be bird, girl, and human. Bird wants dunk thing. I guess I'm giving you the money thing. And human can have his unique thing. In order, I want bird first. Then human.
Headwind.
Then other human.
Bay. Now.
Manly reminds me of the kinds of people who were unkind to me back home. Are you quite ready? I doubt you are. Besides, my colleagues of the Chastity and I have a trick or two. We think she'll take you by surprise. Just watch.
Begin.
Flap. God, that tree's aura is huge. Okay, we got two of them. Okay, can I flap it in? No.
Sorry, Manly.
God, his aura is just obnoxiously big. There we go.
From afar into the Pyre's flame.
We throw it in. Okay, it looks like I might be able to sprint around. Yes. We haven't actually gotten to use Bird's power, though.
Ouch. Now go. Oh.
I should have used W. My bad.
The flame is stricken. The orb.
Okay, flap. Win.
Resplendent.
Sprint. Win.
Plunged into the pyre.
Two more. That didn't quite end as I would have hoped.
All of the Nightwings back. Their aim was true, and thus.
Yeah, we're still ahead. I'm not worried. Okay, flap.
Oh. There.
Oh, I have to spam flap now.
Deliverance.
Okay. It could have explained that when we got the new upgrade to flap that you have to spam it. Perhaps you're merely toying with me. Well, all of this is very, very funny, but now stand aside and let me wrap this up. Won't you? Won't you?
That manly Tinderstaff has such a mind for politics. Would that he focused on the rights. And it is done.
Victory.
Wings prevail. Meanwhile, their adversaries wallow in defeat. The right is done.
My word, how could this happen to me, you deceitful, ignorant, uncouth pack of fools? Have you any idea what you've done? Walfred watches the outburst in silence. Keep spouting off like that and you'll reveal all that we need to know. You harbour such a fear in your heart, don't you? Coming from the aristocracy and now in exile, how they must speak of you. What would they think of you if you don't get out, or even if you do? He remains deep in thought. I see now. Then Volfred returns to the shadows. Oh, my head. Who? Oh, I believe there must be a mistake. I have to go. Ta-ta. Fine evening to you now. It's been a pleasure. He stumbles away in a stupor, and there he goes. I've lifted certain burdens from him for a time, a bit of mercy for his sake, and for my people's. As well, it should ensure he has no lasting memory of our encounter or running into me. Let's be off before he catches us up again.
The rights do tend to teach something of trust.
Human almost levels up. Worm will level up, and Bird did level up. All in all, having to unlearn everything I've learned is going faster than expected. So, do we want... This does like an AoE wave after you do the attack thing, it will pulse. Or if you are killed after you have killed someone, you come back extra quick. I think I'd prefer the pulsing.
Until the next round.
Though I don't know if I'm ever gonna remember to do it. I should probably have chosen the passive thing that just happens automatically. Back at the wagon, after defeating the Chastity, in a pitched battle, you're about to join the others discussing the outcome when Volfred finds you. Good work back there, my boy, though I'm afraid I must pull you away from any revelry. There's something you need to see. Join me outside. Look forth. The golden star reveals itself to us once more. Somewhere deep in the infinite dark, a single star shines brighter than the rest. Wait, it's time for the last one? Yeah, it's time for the last one. The rites are calling you again to the fall of Solium, where, among others, one of you will go free, should you prevail. It is as we discussed. The cycle of the rites turns more quickly. Perhaps the scribes have taken notice. Having more frequent opportunities to free ourselves isn't unwelcome for our plan. It's good for everyone, including the Fate. Who will oppose us next? No, doggo! I think that's good, doggo. Getting to Mount Alodiel ought to be easier. We should be able to make landing somewhere near one of the old monuments. Let us set forth at dawn. Soon everyone is off to rest, as best they're able, knowing that another chance at liberty for one of them will soon present itself. You want to talk? Something is troubling Hedwyn. You are not the only one. It looks like a case of broken heart to me. Reader darling, trust me. It's nothing. I think all the travelling is catching up with me. You don't make much of a liar. Now then, let's have her name. Or his. So obvious, is it? It is. Go on. He hesitates. Her name was Fakini. It was. It was. We were right. Fakini? Yes, she's from the mountains, the same as you. You don't mean Fakini Shang, do you? We feared her lost in the gorge. You know her? Come now, how many of us do you think there are? Your Commonwealth has been rather successful in scouring my people from the world. Yes, she and I spent time together in the past. We flew a few sorties. We were in different units. She was reconnaissance, if I recall. She said as much to me, but what happened to her? When you were sentenced, it was about a year after me, wasn't it? So, maybe you know something? She was alive and well when last I saw her. Got back from the gorge with a few scrapes and some good information. That was several years ago. Who knows what's happened since, though I must say she never mentioned you. I'm impressed she managed to keep secret your relationship. She would have gotten herself into real trouble. You keep her secret too, please. Oh, don't worry about me. Down here I'm in no position to betray anyone. And besides, I liked her, and you're not bad. Why, this is all rather sweet. I'm sorry, Hedwyn. I wasn't trying to make light. I wish that you would tell me more about her, though. I think that you must know her better than I. Sorry. Yeah, look, I'm sorry too. I didn't mean to get on your case. It's just I don't like to talk about it. It's a lot to have to explain. I understand. So, now that the awkward introductions are out the way, could you tell me any more about what she was like? Well, let's see. They talk for some time about Fikani, and about how such a relationship would have been seen in both the Highwing remnants and the Commonwealth. For Hedwyn, just knowing that Fikani still lives, or that she was alive after his exile, lifts his spirit. Anyhow, if you get out of here, or I get out, I'll have to seek her out. If I go first, I'll let her know you're in one piece and thinking of her. Thank you, it means a lot. Don't mention it. As the conversation widens down, they bid you and each other a good evening and go their separate ways. The shifting sands? And the book wants to nag us. The book says, the stars shine strange beneath the sea. This one dared rise from the waters so that he could see them plain. The burning essence of those who came before. Our lives are but a quest to join the stars. This one longed to be the brightest, but in the downside there is one yet met? This one met those whose own stars shall doubtless burn at least as hot. Together we achieved great deeds. You may have seen some evidence of them. The remnants of the great titans which once darkened this dark land, but in our kinship was the strength to conquer them. It is this one's humble chance to chronicle those deeds, and may the Titan stars never stain the sky during your time. Book still has more. The foul name of the Star Titan is written there but once. Do not invoke it, lest you aid its reawakening. It sups upon despair and fear and doubt, and lands such as our own. 'Twas the mighty mistress Milthy which tracked the astral-born monstrosity within its loathsome pit, where it lay nursing wounds sustained from travelling across the stars in search of simple prey. The wicked astral-born could drive a lesser creature to the brink of insanity with a mere passing glance. But not Milthy. She cast upon the fiend 100 words of binding, each more binding than the last. With the creature's incandescent skin we bound the book, and bound ourselves unto the stars. The book yet says more. The Chastity. Those bearing the name of Chastity all count themselves disciples of Luscorian, the 100 Minds, who, firstly for his wisdom, but also cherished for his modesty, integrity, and kinship. Sklorian's priority in forming his triumvirate was to instill in all his subjects a deep-seated dependence and respect for the rules governing the liberation cycle. The cycle of the rites needs to be respected to be understood, and needs to be understood to be respected. Thus, the Chastity are emissaries of the cycle. Should they earn back their liberty, then they should spend enlightenment. They would spread enlightenment itself, and all of us would grow. The book is no longer nagging us. We may continue. Enter airplane mode. Zoomy zoomy. Okay, do we want to land in Emperor's Ascent, where Ruki will gain favor, or where Pamitha? We just used bird, so I guess doggo. You make landing on the sacred Mount Alodiel, upon whose summit the next liberation rite will soon take place. You wonder who among you may regain his or her freedom. Volfred finds you after the post-flight inspection. We shall have to take the rest of the trip to Fall of Salamium by hand. May we soon liberate another of our own there. That would raise the chances that our plan will ultimately succeed. Seek the harp scribe's favor. Later that day, you accompany Ruki into the splendors of the Emperor's Ascent, where a monument to Trieste Tithys awaits you. Perhaps due to the nature of this place, you begin to sense Ruki's inner thoughts, as clear as if he were speaking aloud. So, you scribe people, you can hear me, right? If you can, do me a solid and get me out of here already. My family can't do nothing without me, and they've been waiting for a while. Soon you and him are finished paying your respects. You return to the wagon in silence, feeling as though Trieste Tithys has shown your favor. At dawn you begin your ascent. For now, the solitude here is fit for pursuing your vocations. Ruki gains extra bonus stats for the next single fight. And there's also something to do inside. We can talk to Doggo. You find Ruki having just put his Greentail family portrait back. There's something of a wistful look in his eyes. Something comes over him and he moves in close. Look, chum, I got a level with you. Truth is, I haven't been entirely upfront with you about my family's situation. We aren't quite as rich as I've been letting on. We do fine, and there's lots of money stored away. It's just locked up in savings bonds and... He seems to catch himself in the middle of another tall tale and relents before you can respond. The situation is my mum back on the other side needs a bit of help, financially and otherwise. All she's got now are my knuckle-headed uncles to keep her steady. Always told her I'd make something of myself. I was just a clerk in a shop. Things started getting tough for us, so I looked into different kinds of work. I got into some unseemly sorts, I guess, but the pay was good, real good. We took to shipping certain types of stuff down here, of all places, flushing it straight down the river, watertight. The pay was right, Mum would have been proud of me. We were eating good all the time, but, well, you can probably guess what happened. Oh, sad doggo. I barely scraped by after they flushed me down here. Would have been food for a bunch of howlers had Jody not bailed me out of a tough spot one evening. As for my mum, she doesn't know the half of it. My uncles told her I'm away on business. Not entirely untrue, I guess, but if she knew, it'd break her heart. So I don't know how else to put this, but I want to get out of here. Back to what I was doing back home on the straight and narrow, though. I'd go straight this time for sure. Just don't tell anybody that Ruki Greentail's a mama's boy, okay? I've got a reputation to uphold. He quickly scampers out the door. His past weighs heavily on him, but you sense he was sincere about wishing to lead an honest life. Is there any of these to do? We can do Bird. Bird can get her upgrade, maybe. Let's have a go. You have to remember to spam fly now instead of hold it. Yeah, I'm your boss, etc., etc. That didn't quite work as intended. We killed one, but then they score nevertheless. And I was too slow on the dodge. Although it really feels like I should have gotten them in that aura then. Absolutely dominated. 3 for 3. Okay, then can I float in? Yes. Not allowed bounty here. float. Got you. Flap, 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 flap. Flap, flap, flap. It's so silly now that we have to spam flap. I kind of regret getting the spam flap ability thing. There we go. Victory. What's her special item? No, if I hold it down, it doesn't work like it used to, Parabola. Happy as can be, my doubtless pretty harp. So good of you to ask. On top of that, your performance was sufficient. You have passed my test. Congratulations. Complete 5 scribe trials in the Beyond a Crystal campaign. Achievement unlocked. My, Sandra sure could use a massage or something. She's so angry. What do you have there? We have Triesta's Plume. While flying, after dousing an adversary's pyre, you may return instantly and do 3 extra damage. So if the enemy kills you after you've scored, you come back straight away. We still don't know a lot about her. Unknown, 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 unknown. But we can give you your new item. Now there's a little risk that we're not allowed to do this, but I guess we'll find out. No, we are. Glory 1. And then there's only 1 more of these buffs to do. And then we're out of passive buffs. We have to start choosing the other options. Do we go to the Temple Cistern? Or... Human or Worm? Worm needs more levels. So I guess Worm? Like, Worm needs the levels more than Human? On the way to the summit, you pass a monument to the Under-King Ores, and Sir Gilman happens to notice. You wish for good fortune in the coming rite. As for Sir Gilman, have this night's glory days gone by, he wonders. Perhaps you know the answer. Don't spoil it for me. He says little after paying his respects. As you continue your ascent, you sense that the Under-King Ores has shown you his favor. He will have 3 glory for the next rite. You're once again at the Scribe's Gate, where a narrow trail leads up towards the summit, past the archway carved of stone. Come this way. The minstrel leads you there, where his counterpart awaits. The exiles of the Nightwings have returned. They have. Greetings, Celeste. She all but ignores him and motions to the rest of you. Now then, each of you in turn state your name and what it is that you seek whilst crossing the gate. Just do as she says. Everyone steps forth, one after another. Hedwyn, Hamatha, Sir Gilman, Bay, Jadariel, Ruki, and Volfred. No one is left but you. The Guardian regards you with a still expression. The scribes bid you welcome. Go forth with glory. You have our gratitude, Celeste. She pays him no heed. Again at the top of Mount Elodiel, from which the downside sprawls before you, you wonder whether one among you will follow Tizo from this place. Oh, we can't access the starometer, and there's nothing to do in here. We could go shopping. It's so cold up here. Why don't you buy something? You'd buy 2 single rank up things. And then we are poor beyond measure. What will we spend them on? So I should actually use her. You and Jadariel. And who are we going to send onwards? He said he really wanted to leave. I like this one of the health recovery, so we level that up. We level that up. It only leveled up once, sadly, or at least the effect only leveled up once. In theory, I should do you two and the worm. Tell your friends about us, says the shopkeep. The time has come for your second liberation rite to commence. You observe the lone minstrel and Wolfred speaking in hushed tones. You cannot sense the topic. Wolfred looks up at you. I trust you're prepared as possible. Each rite is consequential to our journey, but these have a more immediate effect. It's somewhat crass. I've gone and estimated by how much each of our companions may contribute to the outcome of the plan, should they be liberated here. Factors such as their previous occupation, innate tendency to lead, oratory skills. It's nothing personal. Besides, we ought to all return in time if possible. Know simply this, for each who goes, in doing so, he or she shall raise our total chances of success. Reader, sir, this night you shall confront the fate. They have already appointed Dalbert, yeah, good doggo, to be liberated should they manage to prevail. We all have faith in you, and lo, even the stars agree. Wait. Oh, I didn't realize you could do more than one at a time. Oh, no thank you. Start with 30 less. Your opponents start with 30 more. Your opponents come back to life quicker. I feel like that's pretty harmless. But honestly, 3 doesn't sound like a big bonus. Oh, they're worth different amounts.
Endriga the Widow.
I mean, I think I'll be happily getting the +10 rather than the +3. Like, all the others only give +3, whereas this gives +10.
The Nightwings have returned unto the fall of Solium, at which the scribes first formed their sacred union. At stake this night is freedom and prosperity. But only for one exile who prevails in this liberation rite. Your many adversaries all did strive to earn this opportunity. 'Twas the fate which earned it. Who shall be absolved is up to all of you.
The pyre burns, and each triumvirate is present and prepared. I concur. Then, anointed one of fate, come forth, declare yourself, and pay any respects you have unto your adversaries. The bent old cur, Dalbert, steps forward and struggles for a moment with his mask. Greetings, good heralds. I am Dalbert Oldheart. It is the greatest honor of my years to stand upon this sacred site upon which the 8 scribes anointed these glorious proceedings. We are honored to be in your presence once more. Father, they're our adversaries, not our hosts. We don't need to be so gentle. They'll do their utmost to keep you from your freedom. Your son speaks out of turn. Control him. My sincerest apologies, Chiersala, for his unnecessary outburst. Alma, please, we've worked towards this opportunity and we must make the most of it. He puts his mask back on. My son and I stand ready. Okay, Doggo human. Who will we use? Only the enlightened may be anointed, and not all will necessarily be ready. Make our decision.
Who would you set free?
Okay. We are forced to choose one of the starting trio. I mean, Doggo just did give us our please set me free so I can help my poor sick mum speech. Now, whether he's being legit... Good choice, chum. Though if we get out of here, I don't know what you're gonna do without me.
Who shall stand with him?
Now... in theory, it should be you.
Sir Gilman.
By this knight's honor, he will fight with all his might. And either you... No, it should be her based on bonus experience. So, let's go look at what abilities our enemies have. Okay, if you're behind, you catch up. While you're behind, you catch up. While you're behind, you catch up. Human has double jump. Oh no, Doggo has double jump. Sun has... starts sprinting immediately. And Human has better stamina.
Dariel.
Understood. Let us return him home.
The choice is cast.
Thank you for this opportunity. Let us strive to our fullest capacity with honor and grace.
Commence.
Okay, score 1. Zoom. Nope, they counter score. I had too much slidiness. Zoom. Zoom. Dunk. Hear us now, O noble Joma, for we beseech you, surely we cannot prevail without your aid. If you have ever heard my prayers, smile upon us now. Whether from his prayers to the scribes or simply his own resolve, something comes over your fellow exiles. If they are banished, they shall not soon return. Well, bugger. Zoom! And we recover some more of our own health. Zoom! That didn't go as intended. Oh, I thought our stomp was meant to stun people. And zoom. Two more and we win? Oh, well, we're both dead. You get your counter score. On the other hand, we get to have all three people back again, which is rather helpful.
Righteous.
Sliding shot. But it was worth bugger all.
Shall it be? Indeed.
That was worth a bit more.
No more than a lick of flame remains.
Zoom! Oh, too slow on starting the zoom.
Now to the flame.
Zoom!
All three night
Nah,
wings.
we're all dead. They get to counter score.
Disaster.
They need 2 in a row to win, though. Oh.
Blobber banished.
Zoom and dunk.
And there it is, at last. The Nightwings proved their worth. Rather convincingly, I must admit.
Yeah, we still had 2 enemy dunks before we'd be dead, so I can accept that.
Thus ends the liberation rite. And thus, the scribes have chosen the exile appointed by the Nightwings shall be free, absolved of all misdeeds, return to glory in the Commonwealth. His adversary and all others shall remain to carry out their rightful sentences.
Rookie gets to go home. Alas, my son, I've failed you. Father, wait. What good is freedom if we would be apart? So, what now? I guess I'm supposed to jump into this waterfall thing and then home for home sweet home? Something comes over him. Listen to me, chums. Don't any of you go thinking you're gonna miss me, eh? You're gonna do fine, even without old Rookie Greentail here to keep an eye on you. Even though the rest of you are just a bunch of slowpokes. Me, I'm gonna be so busy drinking myself silly on Commonwealth stock, I'm sure I'm soon gonna forget each and every one of you. But just in case I don't, you be sure to stop by and visit me if you get back too. Just look for Mama Greentail's shop, right in the heart of town, you can't miss it. Stop by and say hi, you know. I think I'm gonna go, so, excuse me. He drops into the shimmer pool and disappears within, although you can still hear him going on about something. Whoa, let me tell you, this is weird. It's starting... Wait! Rookie has earned back his freedom.
Godspeed.
May he return in glory.
The 8 scribes are ever merciful. By their grace, the cycle of the rites may soon commence again.
Human will level up next fight. Utter nonsense all of this, that we have come so far, fortune alone cannot be the cause. She can have... If she salutes, she does bonus damage. Pfft. No. She kills people by yeeting the ball at them. Sir Knight Leighton levels up. So grateful is this knight for the glorious occasion that he is giving strong consideration to performing here and now the forbidden dance of the Sea Dominion. Do we give him... When he has no friends, he moves even faster and has infinite stamina. No, I wanted to try this. I wanted to try the, if you salute, the enemies are stuck. Because 3 seconds is so long when you're that, speedy worm man.
Gave their freedom so that we may yet have ours.
Father, wait! Calm yourself, son. The rite is ended. But how can you be so calm? Did you strive this night with all your heart? Yes, but it wasn't enough. No, my son, it was enough. More than enough. You return to the wagon, having prevailed against the fate in the liberation rite. Such a glorious night this turned out to be. Our group grows smaller. You succeeded in liberating Ruki, who returned to the Commonwealth in glory. We did what we could. With each rite, we strive to advance our plan. A brighter future awaits at the end of the path. For now, we persevere. I take it you've seen the stars, or the lack thereof, I should say. You have or did. Once more, the sky is all abyssal darkness. No stars illuminate themselves to guide you further on the path. Let us go to the Moonlight Alcove. I have an errand to run. Beside, once we arrive, best we recover now and make our way southwards at first light. But there's talking to do to Mr. Worm. Sir Gilman is uncharacteristically quiet. He salutes you with his tail. Glory to you, and glory to the noble Ruki. Greentail, long may he prosper in the Commonwealth. And in so doing, may he benefit the plan into which we have all been thrust. He's then silent for a time. You sense him growing emotional. In noble Ruki, this knight found a kindred spirit. One of questionable honour and the greatest cunning and blinding speed as to befit a minstrel's tale. This knight fears our triumvirate has lost something irreplaceable in him. Of course, this knight is also pleased that Ruki has achieved his freedom. And furthermore, we will continue training harder than ever before. Ruki Greentail, this knight shall train on until such a time as he is swifter than the jagged lightnings of the deathless tempest. Now, Master Reader, this knight must beg his leave of you, for it is time not for his rest, but for his training. Know that he is grateful for your wisdom and guidance. Between yourself and Master Ruki, you have instilled within him an unshakable resolve. He bows low and bids you good evening. And the book wants to nag us. From the top of Mount Elodiel, the downside may be seen in its entirety, or at least felt, since so much of it, of the land, is shrouded, but that is hardly all. Through the wondrous miracle there lies upon the highest mountain an inverted fall, whose waters crash not towards the sea, but rush towards the heavens. We speculate that these very waters which delivered us, but now bend backwards, seeking their return, as do we all. In this phenomenon can freedom be achieved, but only for the chosen, when the time is right. This is a path to freedom we cannot traverse, but which we leave open for you, so that you might strive for it. The book also wants to tell us the fate united under many Main, the Alpha Chief. He is brash, but follows his traditions. He prizes faith, discipline, and honor. Qualities he seems to lack at first. He formed the Fate under the precepts of olden bylaws of his four-legged ancestors. They believed in a certain natural order in the way of things. Many Main wanted for the Fate to likewise show respect. Initially, he chose from other curs. He, however, urged the Fate to replenish their numbers from any race of or ethnic group thus willing. Thus shall they anticipate what is to come, with open eyes and minds, and never frown upon what is in store for them. And one more time, the book wants to tell us, in the words of Tithys, the Blessed-born, mercy is the beating heart of the truly free society, mercy even from the perpetrators of the darkest deeds. As our liege, Salamian Mur, drifted in an ocean of regret, he found there mercy, or rather, it found him, and it saved his life. Mercy, freedom, they are intertwined. A society which raises a clenched fist against its own shall follow the doomed path of the Empire of Sa. Ours shall be a merciful society. May the perpetrators of the darkest deeds be sent to join us here, where they may learn as we have. Mercy shall engender union among all our different kind. We shall stand shoulder to shoulder, equal in society. Okay. And the book has stopped nagging us. We can go back to the map. Either... No, there is no other choice. We must go here for Tree Man. You once again find yourself amid the splendors of the Moonlight Alcove. Here you can wait the time until the stars deign to shine for you again. Beyond the border crystal seeks Sir Kagan. We've returned to the place of respite. Make yourself comfortable. We're at the mercy of the stars, but they shall shine bright again. I shall return by then, for there is something I must go do. There, from atop the sacred mountain, you gaze down into the abyss that is the downside. You wonder when the stars will align themselves once more. The plan of which you are all a part is set in motion. The Commonwealth, a nation that stood for almost 1,000 years, is in turmoil. If your companions return there through the liberation rites, what sort of place will they return to? Many moons pass. One evening, amid a downpour, with no interest whatsoever in relenting, Volfred requests everyone convene. You understand he has an announcement. Soon everyone is assembled, and Volfred regards the group. Everyone, there is an aspect of our plan which I have not yet talked to you about at length. Look around at your companions. What do you see? He lets the question hang in the air. I'll tell you what I see in all of us. All of us, a living vision of the 8 scribes themselves, each one among them hailing from the different tribes which later formed the Commonwealth. My observation doesn't come from pompousness, I think. Rather, I believe that the scribes themselves desired, or perhaps desire, such a course. Together they created the ceremony of which we are now a part. The exiles, liberated through their rites, went on to found the Commonwealth, based on their values and teachings. Thus, an instrumental aspect of our plan is to embody the spirit and the culture from which the Commonwealth arose. That way, when all are united on the other side in solidarity, the people can see that we reflect the values they cherish in their hearts and not merely our own. We're still missing a key representative on behalf of Molten Mythe, and I happen to know a certain bog dweller who shall fit the part most splendidly. He motions them to approach. A certain bog dweller slithers forward, and you recognize her straight away. It is my pleasure to introduce you to a dear old friend, whom I believe you've met. Welcome, Bertrude. The bog dweller, called Big Bertrude, utters something guttural in the way of a greeting. So are we to understand that you require further aid? Yes, the time has come. Bertrude here is far and away the most accomplished alchemist I've ever met. You'll soon find that she knows much about the rites as well. She looks at you and your fellow exiles. We frighten you, apparently. Everyone is silent as she searches their expressions. Then tremble, small ones, and hold thy tongues, lest we remove them. She takes her leave without another word. Excuse her blunt manners. I guarantee she'll make up for it. Everyone disperses. It seems now that the ranks of the Nightwings are complete. She has joined the group. You sense her powerful presence. Now then, perhaps you notice the stars once more shine brightly. meaning it is time to get back to business. We can go to Haub, Milthy, Vu, and that is it. What options do we have? So, Demon Man, the Fish People, or the Harpies. The Harpies seem good. The Fish People are actually suddenly doing well. Oh no, this is them. No, they both suck. And what about Demon Guy? We were told Demon Guy is strong. Yeah, Demon Guy is at least more victories than losses. So I think Demon Guy wins. Looks like we're to face the Tempers again, which means Ignarius. He's probably angry we beat him last time. Hedwyn then offers you such details as he knows of our next adversary. A long-time resident of the Downside, as evidenced by his appearance, the strongest of the Tempers. He's waited for years to earn his freedom. Born to a middling Commonwealth family, he got into trouble early and often, but found his calling in the Commonwealth's not entirely legal red light district. There he took many jobs, mostly involving his sheer size. Most notably a bouncer, the Starry Eight, where he came to symbolize its reputation. One day, a particularly belligerent guest got under his skin, and he gave them a tremendous thrashing. The club's clientele all cheered. However, the guest turned out to be a wealthy chamberlain, who then exploited his connections to have Ignarius arrested and exiled 14 years ago. In the Downside, Ignarius dropped his given name as is sometimes the custom, and survived alone through his tenacity and strength. In time, he drew the notice of the Tempers, who revealed to him the riots, recruited him into their ranks, and let him work his way up. Now, at last, it is his turn. He might not be the nicest person in the world, but doesn't make it right that he was flushed down here with the rest of us. Anyway, we better get some sleep. You wish a good night to Hedwyn. Your travels shall begin at first light. The book wants to talk to us. In the words of Suliam Mur, last of his name, with the blackened nails do I hereby inscribe the rights of flame. The bylaws shall be written here in full. We, the Eight, decree the rights, a test of one's true worth in body, mind, and spirit. Now, until the stars abandon us, this shall be binding law within the Downside. Those deemed worthy are to regain their freedom from the Downside and return from whence they came. Exiles shall conduct the rites as one of 9 triumvirates and look towards the stars for guidance on their path. Exiles shall bear this book as status. And the essential structure of a rite shall be as follows. Where chosen by the stars, within the dark of night, 2 triumvirates stand in opposition, far enough afield beside their consecrated pyres, symbolizing their resolve. In each triumvirate, the 3 shall act as one, to demonstrate their trust in one another, not just in themselves. Triumvirates shall endeavour to extinguish the pyre of their adversary, whose flames are only to be staunched through a celestial orb descended from the stars. Whomsoever's pyre remains burning shall prevail. The triumvirates are then to disperse. We, the Eight, have seen the turning of the stars from now until the end of the age. Heed our guidance and theirs. The stars take many cyclic turns. The rites commence at their behest upon celestial landmarks where the Downtide's greatest titans fell before the heavens. Hearing this, the book bestowed on your triumvirate, you, the reader, shall persist perceive under which stars you are to congregate. Follow where they lead, as your adversaries shall. If either of you fails to appear, then neither walk the path. Whether you prevail or fail, from that point the stars shall guide you on. The rite shall not commence until the necessary preparations are complete, at a celestial landmark before the stars align. Exiles conduct the rites bearing this book, of which there are but 40 copies, each bound in astral hide. Exiles shall wear the sacred raiments fashioned in our likeness at the summit of Mount Alodiel. Their identities are to be concealed, for they shall represent us all. Exiles shall set a metal sigil for their pyre, and consecrate the grounds using the words the 8 scribes gave their freedom, so that we may yet have ours. The heavens will respond when all is set. During the rite, each triumvirate will act as one, unerringly and without question. The disobedient shall suffer banishment or permanent expulsion. Exiles shall move as of a single mind to demonstrate their faith and recognize that they, as we, the 8, cannot prevail alone. Their worth shall be determined both by their actions and their peers. Triumvirates lacking experience in this may designate a reader, whose focus on this book may help the others to coordinate. However, only those who shall conduct the rites firsthand shall walk the path towards enlightenment, and become eligible to regain their freedom. In the words of Solmium Mer, last of his name, at the appointed time at the aligning of the stars, the heavens shall rain down upon the ground sufficiently prepared, and thus the 2 pyres shall set ablaze. Thus shall commence the rite. Triumvirates are to protect their pyres as they would their life-blood. Life-blood itself is never to be shed before, during, or after any rite, lest the disobeyer suffer permanent expulsion. Exile is injury enough. The rite is an act of mercy. Fear not the purifying flame. Plunge into it headlong and without fear, for you shall be protected by the stars themselves. Seek freedom in the flame. Holy moly, how many are there? Exiles bearing the raiments and this book reveal their hidden inner aura in the color of their flame. The aura is the exile's solitary weapon in the rites. Should one's adversary cross one's aura, they will be banished. Banishment is fleeting. Seek the pyre's light and thus make your return. The exile's presence shapes the aura. The exiles gain greater aura whilst standing side by side with their triumvirates, for we gain strength together. Exiles may cast their aura through force or focus on this book. As the 2 flames are lit, so shall the celestial orb fall from the heavens. But one such orb shall be availed by the stars, requiring triumvirates to vie for it. Its cosmic connection to the flames, the raiments in this book, bestow the necessary qualities for its bearer to prevail. Effortlessly sails the orb between the 3 in a triumvirate. It seeks the grasp of whomever acts among the 3. Once grasped, it shall draw within it all the bearer's aura, fueled by the triumvirate's own flame. It is to be cast into the flame. At each rite we will gain enlightenment, whether we prevail or fail. Indeed, through failure we do tend to learn the most valuable lessons, provided we survive. None among us have prevailed without end. Exiles who walk the path towards enlightenment shall at times be struck by an epiphany, and achieve mastery in some respect. Choose well amongst the blessings we bestow, thus you may yet achieve your potential and surpass your adversaries. Whenever you prevail, your triumvirate earns favor. In time, the triumvirate with the most shall be summoned to the liberation rite, to earn a chance at freedom. Then the cycle begins anew. The liberation rite takes place upon the fall of Somnium under a blooded moon witnessed by the heralds from the stars. There, the most favoured triumvirate shall confront the one which we appoint. The two triumvirates shall pass through the Scribe's Gate, where their worth will be assessed under the stars. Only the most enlightened within each triumvirate may be anointed for the chance at freedom. 2 of their companions shall support them while they strive. The anointed champion, which prevails, shall plunge into the Shimmer Pool and return in glory. There's also Bertrude's Decks. Unusual etched cards depicting the Greater Titans, probably for curses and enchantments, and we can talk to her. You find Big Bertrude looking around the black wagon in a disapproving way. She fixes her gaze on you, and her expression doesn't change. Such a clutter added to this wagon. Since we last looked upon it, it is unsightly. We remember thee from our abode in Flagging Hands. Then, thou must be the reading one to whom Sandalwood referred. She moves in close, studying you. You recall that the mere touch of a crone can induce paralysis or worse. That one such as thee can extract meaning from the tome, 'twas a feat we wished to witness for ourselves. Thy flesh has seen but the smallest fraction of the years which ours has withstood, and yet we are expected to believe that thou can understand the Book of Rites. She backs away. Someone else has joined you. Hail, Bertrude, madam. Is everything to your liking, or is there something that you require? We've been unable to locate a supply of rot worm gizzard extract. Other than that, we lodge no complaint. It's possible Volfred has a small supply. If you would care to accompany me, we may procure you some. That is okay. After you, ma'am. As they depart, you see the minstrel nod his head your way. And I guess we have another upgrade-o thing? Yes, Sir Wormington. Let's have a go. Oof. The apparition appears. She does her usual, you answer to me. Your Highness, I like the sound of that, though flattery will get you nowhere. Demonstrate your competence. Of course, I accept your challenge. Go one. Enemy scores 1. No! Quickly! I don't know how I meant to use him to kill when I need to go past the enemy to use the zip backwards. Yeah, that's kind of bullshit. We were both unwilling to actually pick it up. There we go. Okay, I tempted them far enough away. One more and we win. Oh. I had no idea where I even was. I thought I killed both of them. Victory! close victory, but a victory. Huzzah! The knight prevails. Your performance was sufficient. Congratulations. This knight is humbled at having passed the sorceress test. What, by the scales of the Under-King Aura's, what do you have there? Why, we have literally one of Aura's scales. Gilman jumps 30% farther than usual. Okay, we pick where we go next. You rise early in the morning, although Bertrude is awake, she scowls at you. Good morning, reader. Bertrude, I must trust that your stay has not been too uncomfortable. The comfort of this place are not for us. Fly us forth to lower ground. Let us get on with it. Once the group is ready, I thank you for your patience. Zoom. And zoom. Alright, do we want Needlefield? I'm not interested in your alchemy, so we'll go this way. The wagon touches down in the Black Basin, where you first met Volfred and Pamitha. You briefly wonder of what might have happened had your paths not crossed, as you consider what to do with the remains of your afternoon. The book wants to nag us some more. The continent we call Black Basin shall one day tear itself apart. Arriving upon blackened molten crags, tolerable only by the harp Trieste, we pressed onwards towards a suffocating wood. The land felt to us somehow primordial. Deep in its roots and noxious crevasses lay innumerable clues as to its ancient history. We had little time to excavate for our supplies. By then, were thin. Furthermore, we were lost. Our best attempts at circumnavigation had all failed. It was Lou Sklorian who reached out at last, unto the stars, and they revealed the way. Then we at last could see the sacred mount, Alodiel, there in the distance. Volfred is poring over his copy of the Book of Rites as you approach. He looks at you and smiles. The road to freedom, written in a book that hardly anyone believes exists, and fewer still can read or comprehend. Sometimes I marvel at how absurd all of this is. Tell me something. I've spent so much time considering the book, but know so few with whom I could discuss it. You've had some time by now. What do you think? Is it worth all the fuss? Yeah, it's fascinating. Why not? You tell him that you're fascinated, you've never seen anything quite like it. He nods slowly as you describe your experience. I share the sentiment. To have it in our possession, a genuine artifact from a forgotten time, how much of it is true and how much of it is the scribe's retelling of events. I find it fascinating, I must admit. It is amazing that these volumes have survived all this time. Whatever they are made of has withstood the ravaging effects of time well. And the ideas that they contain remain provocative as well. To think that the Commonwealth disavows of the existence of this book despite official recognition of the scribes. Although the reasons why are in there written plainly. How fascinating that its secrets have been kept for all this time. You'll have to excuse me for my extracurricular interests in its teachings. I used to teach a version of its history. To have access to the real thing has brought me no small pleasure. Let us be certain to preserve these volumes for whomever shall use them next. How are we doing? You are about to level up. You are a fair way away. You have no bonus experience. You do. And good lord, does Bertrude have bonus experience. She has a whole level. Like, more than one level. Possibly 2 levels of bonus experience. Not applicable. And he has no crime. We still don't know much about you either. Or you. Alright, but starting Season 3 of Sports Ball, we'll have to wait for next time. The only thing that I would like to know is, does it give us our chanceometer? Where was that? Here? We're currently at 39%. We went from 24 to 39? So we gain about 15 per person? So we should get over 50% chance of winning with our next cycle, if that stays the same. Fingers crossed. Anyway, that'll do. Join us for Season 3 next time.